The cost of living crisis is here to stay. So in this video, we're gonna break down how you can go from broke and begin saving some money so you can work towards investing in assets in the future. Now, we can talk and go around in circles about how the system is unfair and things are too expensive, but I'm more of a glass half full guy. And I want to break down some of the opportunities and ways you can save more money in this cost of living crisis to get yourself out of the rat race faster and to give yourself more choices. It doesn't mean you're going to be an overnight millionaire. It takes years and years of dedication and savings and investing and growing your wealth or your day job income or your business. But if we can get out of this cost of living crisis by looking at some unique strategies and ways to do that, then you're going to give yourself more choices down the track. So we're shifting the focus from what's out of our control to what is in our control, and that's the most important thing here. You can't affect what Woolworths or Coles set for their prices, or when you go to the fuel station, what the prices will be. You can only control what's within your wheelhouse. Once you've got that money that you've made from your day job, you can only control your spending from there. When it comes to understanding your specific circumstances, you need to make data-driven decisions. You can't just say, oh, I think I spent $50 on groceries and $300 on rent and about $100 on electricity. You can't ballpark these numbers. You need to know the real numbers and what you're actually spending today. So I challenge you, have a look at your bank statement from the last 1 to 3 months. Emily and I did this budgeting process when we first got married. I was earning $45,000 plus super when Emily and I got married, and she was on about $25,000 to $30,000 a year in her part-time job. So for us, budgeting was a very important part of the process. And for us to really understand what was going on in our lives in terms of the money, we needed to break that down on a spreadsheet. So plot out what you're spending each month on rent, on electricity, on gas, on all the must-have expenses, and then your nice-to-have expenses as well. And that's the best way to categorize these things in terms of must-have and nice-to-have. These are also described as your needs and your wants. So you need to work out your priorities. Now, we can't escape what we need in terms of lifestyle costs. You need a roof over your head, you need to eat food, you generally need electricity for your computers and phones and lights and things like that. You can't escape those must-have things. Now, when it comes to your wants, when your Netflix subscription, your fancier car, having dinner out 3 times a week, those are your wants. So once you've got your list of monthly expenses, categorize them into needs and wants. Now, there are ways to reduce your costs when it comes to your needs. You can rent a cheaper apartment. You can house hack and rent out rooms in your own place. You do have different options to reduce some of your basic living costs. So start there. Work out what your base cost is per month just to live. It might be $2,000 a month. It might be $5,000 a month. Work out what you need in terms of your base living expenses and see if you can reduce some of those expenses. For example, Emily and I lived in an older style apartment, paying only $320 to $340 a week in our first few years of marriage. Now, we could have rented a $450 to $500 apartment per week, but that would have been a $5,000 cost to us each year. Now, both apartments put a roof over our head, and so because we chose to live in the cheaper apartment, yes, it wasn't as nice, yes, it was a bit rough around the edges, but we were willing to make that sacrifice to save that $5,000 and use those funds towards making our first property purchase. Also, call your electricity provider. Call your bank, get onto their discharge team if you're not happy with the interest rates that you're on. Threaten that you're gonna go somewhere else and they'll give you their best interest rate. Then it's time to look at your wants. Look at your lifestyle expenditure. Look at your travel plans, look at your holidays, look at when you're going out each week and spending money at the pub. Break down in terms of your wants in terms of a priority. Now for me, I love playing football, so I will want to spend, say, $300 a year on football boots or a new soccer ball and things like that. But maybe I don't need to eat out 3 times a week. So prioritize those hobby activities and work out what you really want to continue spending money on and what you could potentially drop off for a period of time, maybe 1 to 3 years. And because of that delayed gratification, you're going to be able to invest and get yourself further forward. And that will enable you to go back and spend money on holidays and activities down the track. Now, this is going to be a little bit left field for me, but let me reveal to you some of my hacks when you're looking to get fast food, because I like fast food. It's easy, it's quick, it's convenient. But I've been using hacks for years to get cheaper fast food, would you believe? Because money's money. And if you can save $5 to $10 every time you go to McDonald's or you go to Subway, that's gonna make a massive difference in terms of your savings. So my biggest hack when it comes to buying Subway is to actually order a small salad. And you're thinking, a small salad, Luke, that's not gonna fill me up. But when I'm buying fast food, I'm trying to balance out efficiency, and at this point in time in my life, I'm trying to be a bit healthier. So getting a small Subway salad is the right thing for me. Now you'll see here that I have the same order every time. A Veggie Delight with Avo, small salad, $6.55. And I get all of the fresh salad that Subway has to offer. Now for $6.55, that small salad is not very small. They put it in a large bowl, and when you get all the sides from Subway, they really fill it up. So for under $7, you get a massive salad with Avo on top. Now, if you take that salad home, you grab a can of tuna, which costs about $2 from Woolworths. You put your salad and your tuna together, bam, you have your fast food lunch ready made for you. And you can do the same with McDonald's. My favorite meal from McDonald's is a Happy Meal, of course, because I love a Happy Meal and I want to be happy. I get a chicken snack wrap, and then I generally upgrade the drink through the app to a large Coke Zero. So you can actually upgrade the drink for only an extra $1. And that means you're having a small chips, which is probably the worst thing for you. Yes, a Coke Zero is not great for you either, but at least it's essentially 0 calories. And then you're getting a grilled chicken snack wrap, which in terms of Macca's menu is pretty healthy. You can also do the same with Hungry Jack's. They have vouchers you can Google and find up on your phone. And everyone knows Domino's and places like that have vouchers. So if you're gonna go down the fast food avenue, those are my hot tips. And that's what I regularly buy in terms of fast food. I'm probably at Macca's and Subway the most. When I'm out and about, it does make it easier to pop into a Macca's and get a grilled chicken snack wrap. And if I'm coming back via the gym to the home office, then I'll pop via Subway and pick up a small salad, and there's lunch made in a matter of minutes. So once you've broken down all your expenses in terms of your must-haves and your nice-to-haves, you've done your best to cull those must-have expenses, and you've also been realistic about what your nice-to-have expenses are, it's time to get creative with your income. We are all going to be limited by our base expenses. If we want a certain standard of living, we're going to have that cost base sit with us. So we need to look at trying to earn a little bit more money. And this is where side hustles come into play. Now, I've tried a lot of different side hustles over the years, and I actually found that renovating was probably our greatest side hustle, because we were able to create significant value on these assets through putting in some sweat equity, because property and renovations is not something that everyone wants to do, and therefore there's a higher value put into that work. But some other examples of work you could do is get a second job. Maybe you could work at Coles. Maybe you could pick up a job on the weekend being a lifeguard. So I was a swimming coach for a period of time, and that paid really well because you have to get a certificate. And even though that certificate only takes 1 week, because you've gone through some training, you get some significantly higher pay. So with those side hustle jobs, look for that slightly higher hourly rate with a very easy barrier to entry. So if it only takes 1 to 2 weeks to do the training, but you're gonna get $7 to $10 more per hour, those jobs are the ones to go for. So swimming teachers, lifeguards, forklift drivers, anything that requires a ticket or a license that might take you a few weeks to attain is actually worth it if you're going to have that side hustle for the next 1 to 3 years. You can also look at starting your own business or providing a service. Now, service-based businesses are great. I know a lot of people talk about window cleaning and things like that, but you want to look for something that's potentially scalable, marketable, and that you can do yourself. So that's why Emily and I got into renovations. Now, not everyone's going to be able to buy a house and get stuck in and reno. You have to watch plenty of YouTube videos and be willing to do some hard yakka and get very sweaty and potentially make a lot of mistakes along the way. But for us, that was the greatest way for us to fast track and create wealth. So we were working day jobs earning, say, $60,000 a year. And on weeknights and weekends, we were working essentially 6 days a week to get ourselves forward in terms of the rat race. If you're looking to build a little bit of a business, you can also outsource some of the work. So I don't do everything here at Purpose Property in our buyers agency. It's myself and 5 staff members. Now, I'm the one that does the detailed due diligence and handles the negotiations and closings on property purchases, but I have a broader team who help me cover the ground across Southeast Queensland, who can help do the legwork, who can get access to more opportunities to help our business network with selling agents. So look at ways for you to potentially outsource if you're providing a good or a service. A lot of people will use Upwork or Fiverr or different platforms to outsource certain sections of their side hustle. Take YouTube as an example. You know, for YouTube, you can hire a video editor. Yes, it's going to cost you $100 to $200, but it might save you 4 to 5 hours and let you focus on creating better content. So look at places that you can find efficiency for a reasonable cost in your side hustle. The biggest thing, once you've gone through all these steps, you've looked at your baseline living expenses, you looked at your nice to have costs, you've looked at increasing your income, you've also gone back in your day job and you continue to pursue that career to boost your day job income, because that's going to be the biggest factor in terms of your serviceability. To close this out, you need to look at investing your money. If you're able to create some savings in this cost of living crisis, so if you're able to create some disparity between your income and your expenses, using those funds well is going to be very important for your future. Now, we're not going to live forever. That's a bit of a shocker. So you do want to, if you want to have experiences and there are things you want to do, if you do prioritize travel as something you want to do in your 20s, go out there and do it. You're never going to regret something like that. But if you do want to invest those funds for the future, which is what Emily and I decided to do, then you can potentially live your 30s, 40s, and 50s with a lot more financial freedom. So it's about weighing up that cost and benefit and working out what you want to do with your future. Regardless of where you're starting, it's never easy. There's been news articles talking about the property market and investing in the stock market and it being difficult in the 90s and 2000s and 2010s. And the 2020s is no different. Property is expensive, cost of living is high. It is difficult to break into the market and to build your asset base, but it is possible. If you go back to the detail, you put this back on a spreadsheet and you run through the numbers and you look at different ways to optimize throughout your journey and potentially earn a bit more income through your side hustle or asking your boss for a pay rise, then there are ways to create your savings and then use those savings to grow your asset base over time. If you are looking for help and you want to sit down with myself and discuss potentially buying a property here in Southeast Queensland, then head over to purposeproperty.com.au. We also have a real estate investing course, and that's for people who don't want to pay massive amounts of money, but they want to increase their education and look at the nitty-gritty of how to grow a multi-million-dollar property portfolio. There's 13 modules in the course and over 40 lessons, and it's going to break down for you the step-by-step process on how to start and build that property portfolio that's going to give you financial choices. So if you're interested in that, head over to the website and click on course, and you'll be able to see all the details there. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think is the biggest hack in terms of the cost of living crisis at the moment to save the most amount of money? And if you're interested in seeing more videos on real estate, renovating, and financial freedom, then YouTube thinks you'll really like this video over here. So thanks for sticking around. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.